Sachin and Kevin, may I request you to hand over the kits to the children from the various academies who are present here?
झील वाले बसत पण नाहीत ना बिचारांना त्रास होतो ना.
Present the kits to the kids here. Thank you all. Sachin and Kevin, may I request you to join me on the stage now?
Partnership with purpose is important. There has to be some reason for that. And for me, I felt that DP World, whatever our teams were discussing and what I was being briefed by my team, we found ourselves on the same page. We think alike, our vision is alike. They are also interested in long-term results. There is no such thing as overnight outcome, and I've heard this saying somewhere, right now. There is no such thing as right now. You can either have it right or you can have it now. So I personally feel with DP World, we are, the whole idea is to provide opportunities and fair opportunities to both to young girls and boys. We are looking at that container, which is simply awesome. And I think it's a great initiative. Above all, I've always felt that one thing that is really dear to me and important is to transform our country from sport-loving nation to sport-playing nation. And this is where it starts. It starts at the grassroots level. And that's why this association.
Exactly. This is a great step, as you said, of making India a cricket playing and sports playing country. It's a very noble thought, and also it gives essential equipment to young children who are playing cricket. So Kevin, my question is to you. What was the vision when you started on this initiative and went along with it?
No, I said, like Sachin said, right? It's a partnership with a purpose. It's not just a friendship. And I think, of course, it will grow into a strong friendship as we go forward. But I think the main purpose of this whole initiative is to ensure that we take cricket beyond boundaries, right? We change what's possible. That's I think our key mottos that we work with. And in this partnership with Sachin, I think we both should share the same ethos of hard work, determination, and dedication to the purpose we. He's one of cricket's greatest icons, and we are a global service provider that brings trade together through our end-to-end logistics services. I think the vision for this is to empower sports in turn, empower young youngsters and us go beyond the boundaries and ensure that we make cricket a more widely accepted game. It's today played in so many nations across the world, and you see Mongolia, Cambodia, all at the Asia Cup, and I think the record for the highest T20 scores is now by Nepal, right? Where would you imagine that?
So it's a great idea, which gets magnified because of the support and presence of Sachin.
Absolutely.
Because no better person to spread the message of giving opportunities to young children to get to different parts of the world. So basically a fantastic idea at the right time when the cricket view.
Absolutely.
That is my question to you now. When you started young and playing cricket, were you at any time stuck for equipment, people support you? Did you have your own kit or was it shared with others?
Yeah, when I started playing cricket, it was a common kit of our common memorial, which belonged to our Checker sir. And
The entire team shared that kit.
yes, there were about, I think, at least 80, 90 boys who shared few bats and few leg guards,
Pads,
everything we had to share. So we did that, and then when I started to play seriously, earlier it was only for those couple of months, summer vacations were there, and how do I spend my time? I thought it was the best thing that happened to me because my brother felt that I could go and play cricket, join summer camp for a couple of months and take a sir's net. And then we see where I go from there. In those 2 months, a lot of things happened to me. I felt somewhere my energy was channelized, and then I changed the school. My brother was the one who told my father at that stage that now he cannot use common kit.
This is what, when you were 10 or 11?
I was 11. He said, he told my father that now that he has decided to play cricket seriously, he has to have his own gear, proper bat that works for him. And the bat was slightly on heavier side. So there were a number of senior players who were eyeing my bat. I had to guard my bat 24/7, leg guards, everything. The brand new kit got me excited, gave me that energy to go out and try even harder. I could see the smiles on their faces just now, the kids who received kit bags. Because each container is going to have multiple kit bags. We'll come to that.
Right.
To come. But when I got my kit, I was super thrilled. There were a number of guys who helped me in my school days. Hemant Vaingankar was one of the guys who was instrumental in giving me the scholarship in school days.
This was
Sandesh Mafatla
right.
sponsored my kit. So every year I got a free kit which was sponsored by
They realized very early that you were genius here to support.
Then, of course, another dear friend of mine, Avi Kadam, who got me in touch with Vampire and then other brands in the ISS, SG.
Which was the first band
all these
you-
guys. So they were all providing us free kit, which really helped. So at this stage in my life, I would be failing in my duties if I did not remember their names and the help that they extended.
Right. Which was the first bat you used? What make?
The first bat which I owned was Simon's, which was my bat, but my brother's bat was BDM. I also played with BDM later on in my career, so he was one of the guys also.
So initially, everybody, all young cricketers, they look for a bat. But I'm sure there must have been a time when you're also looking for spikes and things. Was it difficult to get at that time, spikes?
They were difficult to get. In fact, just 3 days ago we launched Ravi Amre's book, and the first quality pair of shoes were given to me by Ravi Amre. उसके पहले तो सिर्फ देखते थे, पहन भी लिया था उनके वजह से. So whenever I meet Praveen and then we are spending enough time with each other, then we talk about those school days and the first pair that Praveen gave me. He had gone with the under-19 Indian team to Australia.
Yes.
From there he carried that pair for me, which I used during my
This is what 1988, 89? Around
Yeah, I think about 87 or
87.
Yeah.
I also understand that you played in camp colonies where there was space to actually play cricket, and maybe one of the reasons for your famous straight drive was because you had to hit the ball straight. Tell us about that story.
Somebody asked me कि ये straight drive के पीछे क्या राज है, and I couldn't think of any answer. But I remembered my childhood days where there were tall buildings on both sides of our pitch, and the main gate was possibly further than where these chairs are, maybe 20 yards further. And we scored a boundary only if the ball crossed the main gate, and it was only straight. Anywhere else, one had to run and score runs. But straight drive would give you a boundary without running. And if you hit the ball in the air, both buildings, if the ball hit top of the first floor, then the batter was out. So I practiced hitting straight without touching the building, and somehow that became a habit, which indeed worked well for me, because I remember a number of senior players, including my coach, telling me that there is one spot where there is no fielder, which is right behind the bowler. Hit the ball behind the bowler and you'll score runs.
So you actually scored by hitting boundaries and refusing to run.
No, I would save that energy for not many other things, because I was full of energy. I was a bit of a difficult kid to manage. I don't know how my parents kept patience, but I had a lot of energy, and that energy was channelized when I started playing cricket.
I think you should tell Dravid that if he needs to improve the straight drive of some cricketers, bring them to the colony where you play. But Kevin, my question now to you. To use the expertise of DP World in supply chain management, you're helping young kids. How are you going to do that? You're going to distribute these containers worldwide. What is the plan?
So I think when you look at our Beyond the Boundary initiative, right, we're talking about 50 containers, and each of these 50 containers will have 250 kits. I think you've seen the first container today, and it's going to be like, if I were to say it in 2 words, a mini pavilion. And this will be, placed across the world. 3 will be in India, 1, of course, in Mumbai, 1 in Ahmedabad, and another in Bangalore. And the rest of them over the next period of 3 to 5 years will be placed across the world with this. So I think the key thing is that, like Sachin said, is that you give these young cricketers, you will empower them with kids to play. He was talking of his young days. I remember my young days of playing cricket, right? We used to play with the season ball, and we had 1 pair of pads. So if we had somebody on the other side, we used to have 1 pad on the left leg, and the other one used to have the. So that was it, and I think these young cricketers, these young budding cricketers, I think will really relish the part of this. Apart from these 50 kits or these 250 kits which each container will have, I think we will also have 10 kits for every 100 runs that is scored at
During the World Cup.
Yes, during the World Cup. And that's another initiative of ours.
So that too will be distributed.
Yeah. So they will be distributed over time, right? But some concurrently with the World Cup, some after that. But I think that is the initiative where we are taking cricket beyond boundary, just as our logistics services are, right? They're not within the country. Yes, we do provide. Bring trade together and demand and supply together.
Sachin, in cricket, everybody dreads a zero, especially a batsman, because that's a dirty part, zero. But I think in your career, zero has been an important part of your journey. Your jersey number was 10. It's 10 years since you retired from Test cricket. You're 50. You made 100 hundreds. You played 200 Test matches. So I think zeros have been good to you.
Zero on its own is not good. Zero with a partner is good. So here we are, into this partnership. So, to achieve multiple things, whatever the numbers that you've spoken. If there wasn't a non-striker, it would never have happened. And here we have two batters who can go out and score something which the country can be proud of.
Well said, but tell me, despite having every time you go take guard, mark your guard at the crease, are you anxious when you're on zero? Are you apprehensive?
I like to believe that whoever says I'm not anxious when I'm on zero, we need to double check it. A batter likes to get off the mark.
Yeah, so there is that urge to
Sometimes it takes longer than one expects. You have to play few dot balls and respect the bowler. But every batter likes to get off the mark.
You've dominated sport at the highest level, a very competitive sport for such a long time. Looking at the contribution you made to cricket, how would you like to be remembered in terms of your legacy?
Someone who always thought of the country and someone who wanted to win the World Cup for the country and never gave up. It did take some time, but eventually I kept chasing my dream. I never gave up. That was very, very important to me because it all started in 1983, that journey. And 2011 was the best cricketing moment of my life. And that's how, I would want them to remember me, that someone who wanted to win the World Cup for the country.
Sachin, you've been a fantastic cricketer and a great ambassador for cricket. And I think initiative is one more contribution you're making to the game. It's appropriate that the Beyond Boundaries initiative is supported by DP World and Sachin. Because Sachin is not just about cricket. Sachin's hope, Sachin is inspirational. He inspires all kids, cricketers or otherwise, to stretch themselves, go beyond the limits that have been set. So I think it's a fantastic partnership. Congratulations both to DP World and to Sachin to come out and support. Thank you very much for your insights into the Beyond Boundary initiatives. And it's two world-class leaders coming together to make a change on the ground and to make it possible for young cricketers to chase their dreams and hopefully achieve them. Thank you very much. And now before the event ends, we have a very special part of the container. Sachin, may I request you to go back to the container and help unveil a special tribute for you. May I also request the press to move forward and be a part of this tribute of DP World to cricket.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got it? Got it. Okay, got it. Aramat.